guys, it's Jessica from Peace Out Books, and today I'm here with a video that I saw Mariana do, and I was like, I've never seen anybody do this topic before, and I love it, and that is my almost 5-star reads of the year. These are all 4.5 books that I rounded up to 5 on Goodreads, but I didn't technically count them as a 5-star read, and why. So I'm very excited to get into this. I notice a lot of times I rate based on vibes. I'm like, was I wholly completely obsessed with this book? No, but like, did I absolutely love it? Yes. So that is why a lot of these are 4.5 instead of 5 stars. They just didn't give me that I can't live without this book feeling, and I feel like that's what I've been using as a 5-star rating lately. I don't give a lot of 5 stars. In the last 3 months I gave 9, and I read a lot of books. So that was like 3 a month basically, and I read about 20 books a month. I have a lot of 4-star reads, and like I said, I do have 4.5-star reads that almost made the cut but just didn't, and I'm going to talk about why, and I would love to chat about them. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is because in this series I think I only gave the second book 5 stars, and that is Blood of My Monster by Rena Kent. This one I was obsessed, but also I think reading it back to back to back makes me rate some of them lower than others because others were better. So like I read book 1 and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. But then I read book 2 and I was like, this is amazing. And so I'm like, can I rate them the same thing if I didn't love them equally? Because book 2 was absolutely a 5-star read. These are like a Mulan mafia retelling, and they're so good, and the heroine wants to enter the military in order to find out who murdered her entire family and falls for her leader of her like group that she's in and follows him to New York. And so this one was basically her just like training, so it wasn't like super exciting. I do feel like a lot of times I don't give book 1 in series 5 stars, but I end up giving like 2 and 3 and so forth 5 stars. So this one was like a really solid start and made me love the characters and had an insane cliffhanger. But book 2 was bonkers, and that cliffhanger was insane that I was like, I need book 3 now. I need it. And book 3 I really liked too. So, but book 2 blew me out of the water. So this one, not quite a 5-star, but I blame it on the rest of the series because the rest of the series was just so good. Then we have Storm of Secrets and Shadows by Melissa K. Rourke. This is actually the opposite, where I loved book 1. I gave book 1 5 stars, and this one I feel like was too slow. I am very much a plot-driven person. I need a fast-paced plot while also loving the characters. If the book is character-driven, I get bored. Even if I love the characters, I get bored. I need stuff to happen. And so this one, I feel like there was a little bit of too much of slow build going, but I know sometimes it's necessary. And I'm like, do you fault the book for doing what's necessary when it's a little slow in the plot? And so I gave this 4.5 stars. I still really loved it. I still really loved where the story went. I just feel like it was just like a little bit stagnant compared to book 1 and where I know book 3 is going to go and where I know the romance in book 3 is going. And so that's why I got 4.5. I was like, it's just not exactly perfection like I want it to be, but it was still so good. So this one, so close. So close. And I have Restitution by Lee Rivers. I liked book 2. I loved book 1. Book 1 was insatiable. I was obsessed. I was like, I need to read more. Book 2 was basically everything we were told in book 1 told in flashback. So I knew I didn't love that. I feel like it wasn't necessary. And then book 3 I gave 4.5 stars. It was like almost perfect. And this one is honestly one where I can't even explain what was missing. It was just something. I loved the I don't even know, because this one had so much going on in it, and I loved the journey these characters went on. They were battered and broken by the time we got to this book, and you know they wanted to be together, and we were at that point where we were like, go be together, but like so many dark things happened, and you kind of realized a lot of why they couldn't be together was because they wouldn't just tell people and each other what was happening, both of them, and you understood why. Like, there were fair reasons why they wouldn't talk about what was happening to them, but also there were just like so many things that they didn't take control of or weren't in their control that were keeping them apart that kind of a little bit frustrating. But I still love this story. I still love this book. I still am obsessed with it, but book 1 was actually the best to me. It was 5 stars. Book 2 was 4 stars, and this one was 4.5. So still such a good dark romance, like super dark, and you did not know how they're gonna get their HEA. I do feel like the pacing was just a little bit off too, especially with that ending, because of things that happen, and you're like, this is where we're going. So I was shocked the whole time. I still really did enjoy it. Then we do have Heavenly Bodies, which I absolutely adore and talk so much about how much I love this book, but I do vividly remember getting about halfway through through and the plot slowed down so much. So the first half was so good, so action-packed, love the romance, obsessed. And then we got to a part where we had a huge climax happen, and then it was just like slowly leading to the end. So it was like kind of like, you know how you can graph out like the plot of a book and like going up to the climax? I feel like it was like really high, especially like right in the middle, and then kind of went down and then to go back up again. And that down part, I was just like, oh, I want stuff to happen. Like, let's pick up just a little bit. So that was a little bit too slow for me right there, especially after like the crazy things that just happened. So that's why I got 4.5 for me, but still love it. I'm just very, very picky when it comes to pacing. So that is why it was 4.5 for me. But this book, obsessed. I need to read book 2 now. This next one's more so for vibes because I don't think I can put my finger on why it's not 5 stars. On Midnight Shores by Julia Olivia. I loved this when I was reading it, and I do think it might have been the family that put a bad taste in my mouth. I just did not love her family and how they were described, and she is like one of a ton of siblings, and I think that a series actually follows all the siblings. I haven't read any of the books in the series, I think, but I loved her relationship with our hero and how she showed up to his shop where he is an artist, he sells his work, and she's like, I want to be an apprentice, and he's like, no, and he is like this tattooed, broody artist, and she shows up again, and his best friend basically is like, you need to hire her. She does end up hooking up with him in the beginning though, and seeing him, and they kind of hook up at like a festival that's in town, and then that's when she shows up and is like, I want to work in the shop, and he's like, no. And so I loved him, but again, sometimes you just like can't place your finger on why, but I do think that her family was part of why I was like, oh, this is annoying. But again, like I feel like that was necessary. So like, how do you rate something where you don't like something but it was necessary for the plot? I don't know, but I still love this book. Then I know exactly why this is not 5 for me, and that is Direbound by Sable Sorensen. I love this book, obsessed. However, from the beginning of this book, you can tell the guy she is currently with is not our hero. Like, you know from the get-go, from the moment she lays eyes on this other guy, that's her hero. Like, there's zero question in my mind that this other guy, who they didn't even speak to each other, she just mentioned him walking down the street, and I was like, obviously. But for 90% of this book, she's with this other guy, and they have sex on page like 5 or 6 times. And I'm like, again, I was like, I don't like this guy. He's not my hero. Like, he's not our main hero. Why do we have to see them having sex again? And again. And again, and I was so over it because I knew like in my soul this was not our hero, and so I never got attached to him, and I was like, I don't want to read about our heroine with someone else. I don't care. Something is going to happen for them to not be together so she can go be with this amazing other guy, like this other guy. And so I was like annoyed the whole time. So that is why I like could not in good faith give this 5 stars, because of that one detail that happened over and over again. So, but I love this so much. Then I do have Deep End, and this is another, I feel like it's so petty why I didn't give this 5 stars. I love this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. However, the best friend in here was insufferable, and she is the best friend that is the hero's ex and our heroine's best friend. So the heroine is a diver, and she is getting close to her like diver teammates, and the heroine, the best friend in here, is one of them, and so she confides in her that she likes kind of like kinkier sex, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's what my ex is into, you should get together. And she, you know, she is not going to be a nice person, and I hate the heroine. Maybe it's just because I am petty. Like, I would just be like, no, like, you just like don't need to be in my life. Like, I hate you from what she does. And the heroine, I feel like, let her off so easy and was like so forgiving, and I was like, she was a horrible person. Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, that bothered me. So I didn't give it 5 stars. But again, I'm being petty. Like, it was still an amazing book. The next one I also feel like is vibes, and that is Beautiful Venom. I had so much fun reading this. I do think it was very dark, and I'm not super into like secret society dark romances. I feel like I've read a few and I'm not as obsessed with them as other people are, but I had fun. So I think it was just, this took me a while to get really into, but once we were into it, I had so much fun, and it was a bit insta-love. I read my my review on this one, and I was like, because I looked at some of them and I was like, why, what did I say about it that like I didn't love it? And so I had said they do get together really fast, but they're like tested of why they're together. But I had so much fun. Like, I know a lot of people don't love this one. I loved it. I'm about to read book 2 next, and I can't wait. But I do think that the beginning just took me a while to get into, and that's why I gave it 4.5, but still really liked it. Next one, again, is like personal preference, and like, do you fault a book for that? So that is Unloved by Peyton Crin. This is a college romance, and I love and adore her characters and the emotions in her books, but I just don't love college anymore. Like, I ate up new adult romances. From 2015 for like 7 years, I would say. Loved new adult. Like Elle Kennedy and the Paper Princess series by Erin Watt. Like, all of those, obsessed. They were like so good, and I loved anything like with college. Like college football romances, all that. Now I am like very hesitant to pick up anything that takes place in college because I just like don't care. I don't care about they're studying and they're like going to parties, and I'm just like, I'm not into it. So I will always read Peyton Crin though, because I absolutely love her characters and the emotions in her book. I loved Unsteady. Like, there was so much going on in there beyond the usual like college stuff, and same with this one. But also the heroine was so frustrating because she would not stand up for herself, and she would not realize situations were so bad and get herself out of them because she just wanted to feel wanted and loved. And so she let this one guy walk all over her, and I was so mad at her. I was like, stop letting someone treat you like trash. Like, that is so frustrating. But I know that's the point. Like, that is the point. Like, she needed to learn to love herself and let people love her the way she's meant to be loved, and not someone who just takes advantage of her and loves her on their own conditions. So there were frustrating parts of this, and I still love this book though. But I think looking back, I had given it 4.5. But like, again, these are books that I talk about and rave about all the time. There's just like a little detail or a little something holding me back from giving it 5 stars. But it's like top book of the year. So I don't know. Like, and I don't know how to even explain that, because there are some 5-star books that I like less than this. But like, there's aspects that I'm like, can I give it 5 stars because of that aspect? It's hard. I mean, like, reading is so subjective and rating is so subjective, so I still love this book. Then I have Nightwork by Nora Roberts. This one I loved. I was so into it, and I looked back and I was like, I didn't give this 5 stars. Like, in my mind it was, like, after reading it for a while, but I do think that it was the pacing as well in this one. A lot of Nora's tend to be very slow in the middle, and I think the ending wrapped up a little too much for me. So he is like an art thief, and it's so fun watching him throughout this romance because he falls in love with someone in college, and then he gets into a lot of bad stuff with his thieving, and someone wants to use his skills for bad. And not that like him stealing is bad, but like they want to use him, and they're like, we can ruin your life. And he's like, I can't let that happen. So he basically ghosts the girl and is like, does not talk to her again. And they're so in love with each other. And so later on in life, he's kind of like reinvented a new life for himself that's still fake, and meets her again in this small town. And she's like, oh, it's you who ghosted me and left me and broke my heart. I did it for your own good, but he didn't tell her that. And so it's so good. But again, like the ending was just like a lot happening at once after like a little bit of a slow sense. So the pacing made it not a full 5 stars for me, but I'm super picky on pacing. I still love this one. This is another one where I was like, why didn't I give this 5 stars? I know why I didn't give book 2 5 stars, because I love this one more. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I love this. And even thinking back on it, I was like, should I change my rating to just 5 stars? I think it might have been a pacing thing for me, because this is a slow, cozy romance. And a lot of things happen in here though. And like, I really liked the whole aspect of like fighting against an oppressive system. And so this has to do with magic, and she had stolen books from this library that was burning, and I loved it. Now that I talk about it, I'm like, why did I not give this 5 stars? I don't know, like I tell you, it's the vibe. I'm like, oh my gosh, this was so good, but like something in it was not letting me give it 5 stars, and now I can't even tell you what that is. So this is an I don't know, but I still love this. It was so cute. It was so good, but it might have been the pacing. That's usually the answer. Then I have In the Company of Witches. I really love this one, I will say. So this is a cozy mystery, and so something that happens with a lot of cozy mysteries, there is a lot of characters. And in this one, I think that there were too many characters that by the end, when like the reveal happened, I was like, who was that again? And so I feel like that should not be happening in a cozy mystery. It should be like such fleshed out characters that if someone was revealed as the villain, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it was them. But it was like, wait, like this did happen. Oh, and it did happen with that. So there was just just like a lot going on with all the characters in here that impeded me from being able to like love it. But still one of my favorite cozy mysteries. I think it was so well done. I love the magic aspect. I love the heroine and her relationship with her aunts. I loved the mystery. I loved the murder that happened. So still so good. Just a little bit of too many things going on in this one. I did just talk about this in a previous video I posted, but Hot for Slayer by Ali Hazelwood was a 4.5 star read for me, but that's because of the length. This is a novella and the pacing was just not perfect because it was a novella. And again, do you rate something for the nature of what it is? So like, I very rarely rate novellas 5 stars because I'm someone who needs a fully fleshed out book and I need the pacing to be perfect, okay? That is what I've realized about myself as a reader. And for this one, it was so good because it's a vampire and a vampire slayer with amnesia and like literally everything I love. But I just think that the pacing was just like a little bit off because I wanted more. So I gave it 4.5 stars. I still rounded up. I still love this book, but it could have been perfect if it was a little bit longer. But again, she didn't set out to write it longer, so do you fault the book for that? I gave it 4.5 stars. Coronation by Cleo White. I was nervous with this book because when I started it, it was not a 5-star read for me. This one and the next one. So this is a sense where I was like, oh, I don't know if I love this because this one was a lot of spice in the beginning. So this one is a kind of Prince and Me vibes where the king is a very stoic king and people don't really like him. And he actually took over because his brother passed away. Like he was never supposed to be king. And so he meets our heroine who's an actress and they actually spend this amazing weekend together and they end up sleeping together a lot and they really like each other. And so he is like, I'm never gonna be able to marry you. Like he's a divorced king. He got married right when he became king for like political reasons and like to look good for society, and they just did not like each other, so they got divorced. And he's like, nobody's gonna let me be with this young actress. Like there's a huge age gap too. He basically was like, nice having a nice time with you, I gotta go. And so he leaves, and that's where I was like, oh god, they're just like literally just having sex over and over again. Like I don't love this much spice in my books because at that point it kind of gets redundant. But the rest of the book was amazing, and it's surprise pregnancy, which I don't like, but it was done so well in here that I gave this 4.5 stars. I just think that there was too much spice, but Cleo White's definitely a very, very spicy author. I just think that spice needs to have a purpose, and it was just a little heavy-handed in this one, so that's why it's 4.5. But overall, character, story, loved. And the last one is going to be The Wolf King. So this one I did a reading vlog for, and I've talked about a lot because I started it and I was like, it's fine. Like, it's okay. I got to the end and I was like, an ending can make a book 5 stars for me, I guess. And so because I thought the rest of the book was just like solid and then was blown away by the end, I gave it 4.5. I feel like I could not justify giving a book 5 stars just for the end. And also, I couldn't put my finger on why I wasn't loving it until the end because I think it's a love triangle. And so we have her with one hero, and I'm like, he's fine. Like, he's cool, I guess. Like, I'm not obsessed. Enter other hero and their dynamic, and I was like, absolutely yes. Like, is this gonna be a thing? So I think it will be. I'm actually 20% into book 2 right now, and I'm obsessed. So I am rooting for her to be with the other hero, and I hope that's what happens, but I'm fully invested now. So I could not give it 5 stars though, because the first like 80%, I was like, this is fun. This is nice. I'm having a good time. And then the last 20%, I was like, literally the best thing ever. So I couldn't justify giving it 5 stars for a book. I was 20% 5 stars and like 80% 4 stars. So I met in the middle, 4.5. But still, so good. And those are the books that were almost 5 stars for me. And it's fun doing this because like you really realize what kind of a reader you are and what makes a book amazing to you. And for me, it has to be like a well balance of everything, because I know some people, like friends who love books, and I'm like, that was the most boring book I've ever read. And this, like, I don't like epilogues. I know that's super controversial, but like I try to get through an epilogue quickly because I'm like, I don't care. I need conflict, I need plot, and epilogues never have conflict or plot. It's just like, we're so happy, and I was like, good for you. But like, I need more in my romances. I am not a character driven person. I'm much more of a plot driven person, but I need to like the characters still. So like I need that balance in them, and the plot has to be well paced. So that's good for me to know about my reading taste. But let me know if you've read any of these and your thoughts on them and what stops you from giving a book a complete 5-star rating. I would love to hear. If you've made it this far, leave me the headphones emoji because I did listen to some of these on audio. So leave me the headphone emoji to let me know you watched, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.